Hello and welcome. Today, we're digging into a conflict that sits at the heart of pretty much every major project. That constant battle between our super optimistic plans and, the harsh truth of reality.
So here's the big question, right? It's the one that keeps project managers up at night. Why do so many of these big, complex projects just fail to hit their deadlines? Well, the answer often comes down to this really powerful but kind of deceptive psychological trap.
All right, here's how we're going to break it all down. First, we'll define what this trap even is. Then we'll get into the real world costs, which are not pretty. After that, we'll introduce this powerful counter idea and then talk about how to build the right team and tackle the usual problems to steer clear of it.
So, first things first, the happy schedule. You've probably seen it, maybe even made one. It's an incredibly common thing, really, and it comes from a very human place. We just want things to go well.
A happy schedule is, well, exactly what it sounds like. It's a project timeline built completely on hope. It's this fantasy where every single step goes perfectly, all your resources are there when you need them, and any potential problem just kind of vanishes on its own. And here's the fundamental difference in mindset. A happy schedule is all about wishful thinking. You minimize risks, so when things go wrong, and they always do, you're constantly reacting, constantly surprised, always firefighting. A realistic schedule, on the other hand, factors in risk from the get-go. It's proactive, it's anticipatory, it's actually built for the real world.
So why do we even do this to ourselves? A lot of the time, it's the culture. Maybe you've got teams trying to avoid getting yelled at by management, or the whole company just has a culture that punishes people for giving realistic but longer timelines. It's just an easy way to hide the pressure and pretend those big, scary risks everyone knows about don't exist. Okay, so this brings us to the actual damage. This kind of planning isn't just a little naive. No, it has a real, tangible, and often massive cost.
I love this quote from the source material because it just nails the feeling, doesn't it? Living in this dream state feels great. It feels productive, everyone's happy. But it's a bubble, and when that bubble bursts, the project is usually in deep, deep trouble. Let's be perfectly clear about this. Just hoping a problem goes away has never worked. Ever. The longer you put off admitting there's a delay or a technical issue, the fewer options you have, and it just gets more and more expensive to fix. In time, in money, in resources, you name it.
So what's the antidote? How do we fight this? Well, it's a principle that sounds a little weird at first, but it is incredibly effective. You have to deliberately bring the pain forward.
Now, this isn't about being pessimistic or negative, not at all. It's about being strategic. By forcing those tough conversations and shining a bright light on the real schedule gaps right now, you create genuine, honest-to-goodness urgency. It flips the team's mindset from, let's hope for a miracle, to, okay, let's solve this thing.
And take a look at this chart because this is what it looks like in practice. That dotted white line? That's the target date. That's the happy plan. The yellow line is the predicted finish date based on cold, hard data. And that growing space between them, the gap, that's the pain. And seeing it visualized like this makes it absolutely impossible to ignore. Because once you put that gap on a chart for everyone to see, you force the hard decisions. Do we need to cut the scope? Do we need more people? That sobering dose of reality is what often sparks the most creative, breakthrough solutions. And, of course, it gives you the most time to solve your toughest problems. So a philosophy like this needs the right kind of team to actually work. It requires a structure that not only supports honesty, but demands it. And that's where the fast time to market, or FTTM team, comes into play. Just look at the difference here. A typical team is function biased. People are focused on their own department's deliverables and, frankly, on avoiding blame. But an FTTM team, they have a project bias. They're led by a dedicated full-time leader. They truly share ownership of the outcome, success or failure, and team members are actually empowered to make decisions. The whole structure is designed to make facing reality the default setting. Right? So the key takeaway here is the shift from the project being just a job to it being a mission. When success or failure is a collective thing, it totally changes the dynamic. You stop protecting your own turf and you start working toward the common goal. And that mindset is absolutely essential if you want a team that trusts each other enough to be brutally honest. Okay, for our last section, let's get really practical. We're going to look at some actionable solutions for the most common project blockers, all through this reality-first lens. So you've got teams spread out all over the place. Well, that distance can make it really easy to hide problems. The solutions here are all about forcing reality out into the open. You need one empowered core team, you need regular face-to-face meetings to build that trust, and you need super clear work packages so everyone knows exactly what they're responsible for. And remember, email and Slack are for updates, not for solving the really hard problems.
What about having too many cooks in the kitchen? This is a classic. Again, it's all about creating a structure that forces clarity. Create a stakeholder contract so everyone knows their role. Form a single core team with a representative from each group. And have a high-level committee that can act as a tiebreaker. It's all about speeding up decisions and making sure everyone's aligned with what's actually possible. And finally, how do you juggle the need for big innovation with a predictable schedule? Simple. You separate them. Keep your development projects focused with maybe less than 10% new tech. Then, you take that really risky breakthrough work and you give it to its own dedicated team. And you manage them differently, not with hard deadlines, but with learning milestones. Their goal isn't just to deliver something, it's to discover something.
So as we wrap this up, it really all boils down to this one simple but really powerful question. I want you to think about your own projects, your own organization. Is your culture rewarding honesty or is it rewarding hope? Are you building those happy schedules? Or are you building a culture that has the guts to face reality, to bring the pain forward and to reward the kind of honesty that leads to genuine success?